I'm Tony. I'm the game director here at Trega. Our latest update was Desert Rain. It was a massive undertaking. It went from an ancient desert overhaul. We had new biome mechanics. We had 3 new shrine mechanics that involved like 9 shrine locations, a new raid, new loot, legendary weapons, legendary facility. We added our character creator, which was a big undertaking. We also added the female player character, which doubled a lot of our armor sets and animations and stuff. We raised our skill cap and added perks. We added daily and repeatable quests. We added a tradesman that facilitates some of that, and we have bigger plans for where we're going to take our tradesmen. This last update really solidified the overall direction, I think, for the players. When we did Sister of the Deep, there was some biome mechanics, but the raid and the shrines and the storyline were really setting a foundation for where the game's headed. With the Desert Rain update, I feel like what we did is just solidify the concept of what our updates are looking like and what the game direction's headed towards. When it comes to the community reviews and feedback and comments, it impresses me a lot of times how accurate they are. Some of the biggest negative comments and reviews that we get from when we launched in August up until now has been mainly lacking content. Even when you see our positive reviews, there's comments in there saying it's really great, but it's lacking this content. So that's been a big hurdle for us to try and play catch up essentially with it. This latest update, the raid took a hit on the negative side. The real issue there was like the lack of time it needed to develop it. The challenges that we face internally are really the team size, the scope of the project, and then the time we have as far as like budgeting and funding to get all the way to our 1.0 that we want to release. So that's kind of the challenge internally of us. We have a lot of great ideas, a lot of things we want to do, and we just need to keep everything in scope. And that kind of came to a head on this last update of the amount of stuff we wanted to do, we pushed in. We did a really big update, but the raid kind of suffered because of it. Didn't get the kind of time it needed to get to the place we wanted it to be. We're definitely going to do another pass on how the raid landed. On the positive side of things, we see a lot of positive community, which has been great for us. Like looking through anytime we're posting on updates and seeing the amount of people kind of championing for the game is always great. It's a help to the devs internally to kind of see that stuff. So over the next few months, we're going to be focused solely on updating our engine to the latest, which is 5.7. Because of our release cadence and trying to get out major content and updates to the community, we've had a backlog of issues that Epic, we use Unreal Engine, so Epic has solved a lot of problems that we have had to put band-aids on. At this point, they're 4 updates past us, so we're stopping development on content side for right now so that we can have the engineering team focus on getting us on the latest engine update, which should help performance. There's some technical backend to developing large open world spaces that Epic has solved. So it seems like the right time to stop production a little bit and focus on internal backend issues. This next update released to the community, you'll see performance updates, or you should see performance updates with that, as well as some quality of life issues, but it's really to set us up for a better spot so we can get to that release. So when that new update engine comes out, when we're releasing the 5.7 engine update, we will also be messaging the new roadmap visuals and the messaging around how we're releasing for 2026. We're currently looking through our final release kind of cadence and workflow. The biggest hurdle that we ran into was the amount of content we were putting in at the same time. It caused delays in when we could release or ship that content. So our biggest change is we're going to separate the raid release from the biome release. So what you would see is the mountain biome will come out in a shorter time than it would have for the major update cadence, with the concept that we're working on the raid in the background, but there's no pressure on the team to get it to a final state at the same time. So it can kind of push past it maybe a month or so, and then we'll release the raid in another update after it. Once the environment team goes in and starts working on a biome, we can't release midway through that. So the mountain biome is our last unlocked area. So this will be the longest cadence window for us again. After that, we could be working on other things in the background and release whenever we need to, because that next biome is locked. With that update cadence of splitting the biome itself away from the raid, the same amount of content is still coming, the same amount of raids is still coming. We have 3 biomes remaining that we're going to do: the mountain biome, the locked area, and the underworld. And then we have 2 raids still, which is the Zeus raid and then the final Hades raid of our game. So the amount of content is the same, but how we're releasing is changing. So how we communicate what those releases are will change, the kind of the wording and messaging around them. So with wrapping up last year, getting the Desert Rain released, we also did an announcement of a new publisher that came on board. We have partnered with Fireshine. We specifically partnered with Fireshine because they are solely focused, or a lot focused, in the open world survival crafting genre. So they have a user base there. They saw our game and reached out, so we communicated with them about the kind of pros and cons of what this relationship would look like. When it comes to our feature set and the list of features going into the game, they are communicating with us on best release cadences, where to place certain updates, more than trying to dictate where we're going or change the scope of the game, change the visual of the game, or anything like that. They are more focused on believing in our project and helping us with the outreach side of it. On the other side, they're also internally helping us with our QA side, which was a massive help on the last update. For the most part, when we've been doing QA, we've been more play testing, which is a little bit of a difference. It's a nuance of a word, but it's vastly different in what it is. When you have professional QA, they can track down something and then get a repro step for you on how to continually have that issue happen. With that kind of information, it helps the engineering staff actually figure out the issue. They can cause the issue to happen constantly, and then they can keep trying to solve it until it's fixed. The kind of feedback that we get was vastly different and massively helpful. So when it comes to our releases and they get more onboarded into what we're doing, you should see less and less bugs, especially as we get closer to 1.0. We're at a very exciting part of game dev where we're rounding the halfway point. There's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. We're planning our 1.0 release, going through not the major feature set, we have that planned, but all of the smaller features or the additive, feature creep stuff that comes in. And we're planning out whether these things will or won't fit. So this first quarter of the year, as the engine's being updated on the planning side of the game, we're going through that kind of level of detail of all the features that it can and can't make it into the game, planning out the rest of this year, basically preparing us for a 1.0 launch. So thank you to our entire community for playing. We couldn't do this without you guys. We're super excited for 2026. We look forward to you guys getting your hands on what we have planned.